Well, that wasn't quite what Disney fans were expecting. Disney's 2024 annual meeting of shareholders, which took place earlier today, which is April 3rd, has come and gone. And once again, we're still waiting for Tiana's Bayou Adventures opening date, Animal Kingdom expansion confirmation, and more concrete plans and less terms like inspirational and potential in terms of the future of the Disney parks. It's almost like the Disney brass has commitment issues when it comes to the parks right now. So clearly, I was expecting more, especially since the shareholders meeting had to do with the proxy war and the need for investor confidence. But what we did get was more blue sky concept art for the Disneyland Resort's vision for its own Pandora, the world of Avatar. Now, even though this is just concept art, and Disney used the term potential in describing it, thanks to the not at all suspicious timing of Joe Rohde's return to Imagineering last week, I'm feeling pretty bullish about this one and the odds that it actually gets built. Also, while concept art is just that, a concept, an idea, this piece tells us a lot about what Disney Imagineering has in mind and their direction, with the biggest reveal being that this is an original land. Not a single ride, not an experience, but a land, and not at all a duplicate of Animal Kingdom's Pandora, the world of Avatar at the Walt Disney World Resort. Instead, it appears to be directly inspired by James Cameron's Avatar, The Way of Water, and is likely to have different attractions, different bioluminescent flora and fauna, different food, merchandise, and more. So I studied this piece of concept art pixel by pixel, and this is what stood out to me. First of all, and in the spirit of The Way of Water, it seems like Disney is interested in having a lagoon be the central focus of the land, in contrast to Animal Kingdom's floating mountains. Granted, Animal Kingdom's mountains are an attraction unto themselves, but if you think about it, Imagineering could do a lot with a central water feature based on Avatar: The Way of Water. For instance, it looks like we're going to have varying depths of this lagoon, meaning we'll likely get different colors of water. And if you've seen Disney Springs' water features, you know this can be stunning. I also think with this being an Avatar land, we could get some underwater plant life and some creature effects in the water. I mean, can you imagine an audio animatronic whale? I think they're called the Tulkun in Avatar: The Way of Water. They're also in Flight of Passage, by the way, just for reference. But they're such a central part of that sequel film, I can't imagine they wouldn't have some sort of presence in this central water feature. I think Disney is also already thinking about using creatures by the looks of these adorable otters on this sandbar. These may actually be characters created for Avatar: The Way of Water, which were cut from the film, meaning we may already have our first Disneyland Pandora Easter egg here. But back to the land's focus on water. You know that with a great lighting package, Imagineering would intend for the lagoon to look completely different and have different effects at night. And I also love the use of these natural bridges, allowing guests to go over the water, to connect the land in creative ways, and to make the water itself accessible. Now, of course, one of the obvious reveals from this concept art is that Disney may be thinking about an outdoor boat ride, and the artwork shows ride vehicles similar to that of Navi River Journey at Animal Kingdom. That fact alone may be an indicator this is just a placeholder idea. However, it is worth noting that the boats in this artwork look like they have a higher capacity, and there have been rumors that Disney intends to use the same revolutionary ride system as Shanghai Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean in a stateside park. And that ride takes guests both above and under the water. So maybe we're just seeing the outdoor portion of that attraction here. The newly filed patents for an aggressive, thrilling Soarin' 2.0 ride system that I discussed in a past video might also be what Disney has in mind in order to offer a different take on Flight of Passage and perhaps housed inside the land's central mountain. Speaking of which, this mountain formation is definitely reminiscent to what audience saw in The Way of Water with the Water Tribe, and like Animal Kingdom's Flight of Passage, I do think this will be a ride building for something. But another thing I do want to point out is there are less floating rocks than Animal Kingdom's Pandora. You can see just a few likely attached near the top arch of this range, and I'm wondering if that's an effort to satisfy Anaheim residents and city sightlines. Moving on, and as I already noted, the foliage is somewhat different than the Pandora that we know. There are a few similar plants, but it's much less jungle and much more tropical. We even have some palm trees here. And in the back left corner of the artwork, we see another familiar sight from Avatar: The Way of Water. And if I had to guess, this is where we're going to have a restaurant like Satuli Canteen and likely a gift shop. But lastly, I wanted to point out the background of the concept art, and past that tarp-like object, I think that's supposed to be the Pandora Ocean, with this land being a lagoon or a reef. I doubt Disney intends to recreate the effect of seeing water or an ocean in the distance, but I'm absolutely here for it if they intend to try. Now, after the shareholders meeting concluded, Disney Parks Chairman Josh D'Amaro published a Disney Parks blog post about Iger's announcement and other upcoming projects, including Tiana's Bayou Adventure, by the way, but he notably prefaced Disneyland's Pandora with the approval of DisneylandForward, confirming that this is likely the first land planned for the pending expansion. In the past, I've noted that DisneylandForward concept art has long included what appears to be the layout of Animal Kingdom's Pandora, explaining why Iger has been teasing an avatar for Disneyland for months. But since it's not a replica, but a completely new land, I'd be curious to know if that's due to James Cameron or John Landau, Joe Rohde, or all of the above. After all, James Cameron publicly discussed adding Way of Water updates to Flight of Passage more than a year ago, and John Landau posted a picture of himself at Walt Disney Imagineering in January. Plus, and as I shared in my last video, rumors now suggest that Joe Rohde wanted to come back to Disney and Disney wanted him too. But I also wonder if the Way of Water theme of this land has a lot more to do with the overall plan for DisneylandForward, which has long shown a tropical, fantastical, water-centric spaces, like a different take on Tokyo Disney Sea and its new Fantasy Springs land. If so, is this why Josh D'Amaro also referenced Tokyo Disney Sea's Fantasy Springs in his blog post? Of course, I could be wrong, but I do think it's a possibility, especially since DisneylandForward has expressed interest in bringing Fantasy Springs attractions to Anaheim. So when we get actual confirmation about this, honestly, it's anyone's guess at this point. Again, I thought we were getting something completely different today at the shareholders meeting. However, DisneylandForward has made huge strides in recent months, and it's set to go before the Anaheim City Council later this month, meaning we could hear something after that. But as always, and as I'll be saying for the months to come, the best bet is going to be D23 in August. Well, for now, that's all I have. And as I started this video with saying I wish we got more than just blue sky concepts today, I do think this concept is pretty great. The basic direction shown today is what we parks fans have been wanting, which is fresh and original and innovative ideas. It's not a clone land like Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and I like how we're getting a different biome, similar to how James Cameron's Avatar films are being structured, with each film focused on a certain region or climate on Pandora. So overall, we did get some good news today. Disneyland fans got some good news today, and after several weeks of Disney World stories, so it's good to share the wealth. More news and in-park videos are on the way, and as always, thanks so much for listening.